You'd think that creating a plug-in version of the Toyota Prius hybrid would be pretty easy. After all, Toyota knew that they had to improve on their previous Prius plug-in. It could only go about 12 miles on a charge, and the engine would frequently turn on even when it was supposed to run on electric only. But this Prius Prime isn't exactly a regular Prius with more battery capacity. True, Toyota did considerably improve battery-only range. With an 8.8 kilowatt-hour battery, it has a claimed 22 miles of range. That's a big improvement, but it falls short of the Chevrolet Bolt's nearly 50 miles of range. The Prius Prime can now stick to running on battery power only until it's completely depleted, no cheating in turning on the engine. You can also decide to save the battery power for situations where it's more effective, like city commuting, rather than wasting it on the highway. The engine can also be used as a generator to recharge the battery, but that obviously cuts into fuel economy. Otherwise, you can recharge the battery in a claimed 2.5 hours on 240 volts, or around 6 hours on a 120 volt household plug. Outside, the Prius Prime looks different than the regular Prius. There's more LED headlights up front. Out back is a curved rear window, and a scooped out hollow in the carbon fiber tailgate. There are some sacrifices in practicality here. There's no rear wiper, and in order to make room for the bigger battery, the rear seat can only seat 2 people. Again, the latest Chevy Volt made it a big point to squeeze in a third rear seat, even though it's nearly useless. Probably our biggest frustration with the Prius Prime is its optional big touchscreen. Found on top trim versions, this big screen reminds you of a Tesla, but it works like a cut-rate knockoff instead. On-screen logic is far from intuitive, and despite all of this space, radio and climate controls are small and tightly crammed together. Add the surrounding flush capacitive buttons and it adds up to a user-unfriendly mess. Same goes for the seat heater buttons that are hidden down by your ankles. One big plus though, forward collision warning with automatic emergency braking is standard on the Prius Prime. Despite the distinctions, ultimately the Prius Prime drives a lot like a regular Prius. It has a comfortable and steady ride. Handling is more responsive than it used to be, but it falls short of being sporty. So the Prius Prime creates a halfway point between hybrid cars and fully electric vehicles, all wrapped up in a familiar package. For more on fuel-efficient cars, check out consumerreports.org.